Hey, welcome back hikers to the channel here at Follow Bigfoot, where our motive is to inspire, to motivate you, that's right, you, to get off the couch, get outside, and hike your own hike. And we also do this little thing here on the channel where we give back to you, the community, and the trail. This month, we are doing something really special. We are giving away $900 worth of gear to 17 lucky subscribers out there. If you haven't had a chance, make sure you check out this video above here. It gives you all the details and how to enter this month's gear giveaway, which will happen on December 14th. Now, with it being Tuesday, that means that we are doing another Q&A session here in the channel. Each and every Tuesday, we're taking the comments from the comment box below to fill our questions for next week. So if you have a question out there, anything related to the outdoors, backpacking, ultralight gear, whatever it may be, leave it below in the comment box. I'll do my best to answer as many questions each and every week. In addition to that, we're also pulling questions from our Instagram page, Follow Bigfoot. Each week, I'm doing an Insta post of the Q&A. I'll pull a question or two out of there every single week. Same with our Facebook page, Follow Bigfoot. And of course, you can always send your questions to followbigfoot@yahoo.com. Let's get started with our first question. If you did not have a YouTube channel, would you hike more often with other people, or would you usually go solo? I would absolutely be hiking with groups of people. I prefer to hike with others instead of just going solo. Most of the thru hikes that I've been doing since I really created this channel, I had very strict time constraints with work and the time frame of which I had to be out on the trail. So many times I am just going at a faster pace than what the average person really wants to go with, which basically means I'm not going to hike with a lot of people very often. Now, that doesn't mean that I never hike with folks. Each and every single thru hike that I have been on the last couple of years here, there's been days and sections that I've hiked with others. Back on the AT, there was a couple of Germans that I hiked with for 17 days. On the John Muir Trail, I had kind of my little tramley that we hiked together for the 3 or 4 day stretch. And on the Spear Hiking Trail, I was pretty much alone. But regardless of that, having this YouTube channel doesn't really limit me from being able to hike with others out there on the trail. Bigfoot, what do you do with your pack when you are in town to resupply? Well, almost all of my resupplies in town were back on the Appalachian Trail during my 2016 thru hike. And most of the time, I just kept my pack with me. So when I went into a grocery store, I would take off my pack and I would throw it into the cart, or I'd place it on the very bottom, kind of where you put your toilet paper and paper towels and soda, things like that. I never had one place that I can recall that told me that I needed to keep it outside of the grocery store. Now, there are many stores that will say, hikers, please leave your packs here. Packs aren't welcome. If I did run into a situation where I was going into a place like that, then I would keep my pack on the outside. And typically there are people that are kind of hanging out around there, other hikers, and many times you know them. So I would then just kind of ask them if they could just watch it if they're just hanging around that area. But my feeling was this: a lot of my hike really depended on everything going right. I only had 108 days to thru hike the Appalachian Trail, and I gave myself 100 days. I had to be back to work in 108. So I couldn't have anything go wrong, and if for some reason my pack was to get stolen, that would be catastrophic, and I wasn't going to put that chance in the hands of somebody else. So I rarely ever kept it outside, just hanging out by itself of a grocery store. I just didn't have that trust factor with some of the towns that weren't as hiker friendly. But most of the grocery stores, again, would allow me to bring them in and just throw them on the very bottom of my cart, and there's no issues with that. Hey Bigfoot, I have 2 questions. If you wanted to add one luxury item to your pack that you've never hiked with before, what would it be? Also, what do you do for entertainment on the trail at night? Is it like music, games, etc.? Thanks, love your videos. Let's start with the luxury item. One piece of gear that I've never ever taken with me that I definitely am contemplating, especially with a winter hike that I have coming up here in a few weeks, is a pair of down booties. I have heard a lot of great things about how warm it keeps your feet. Typically, my feet don't get too cold. When I was on the JMT, there were a couple nights that I definitely wish I would have had them when I was kind of just chilling in my tent before I actually went to bed. But that's something I'm actually seriously contemplating, and that would probably be my next luxury item that I've never ever taken with me out on a thru hike. Now, in terms of entertainment at night, a lot of times I will listen to music. I know on the Appalachian Trail, many nights I was actually editing my videos until I felt tired enough to go to bed. Now, outside of hiking, when I'm out canoeing or doing a lot of things with my brother, we actually always bring a cribbage board. And that's kind of like our thing, is playing cribbage. We'll typically play about 10 games of cribbage each and every night when we're out in the backcountry. And that's probably my favorite thing to do while I'm out there in the outdoors, especially with my brother, because that's just kind of like our thing. How do you know when to stop hiking? Do you just go with the flow and listen to how your body feels, or are you really strict and keep on moving until you make your planned destination and make camp no matter the amount of daylight left? So when I was on the Appalachian Trail, I really tried to listen to my body all the time. That always took precedent over anything else. If I was starting to feel really tired, really exhausted, and I was struggling with continuing, I would stop. Now, in the second half of my AT thru hike, I was behind my pace by about 4 days. There were many days that I was tired and I had to just keep on pushing because I had to make up some miles. But with all of my experience that I've had out there on the trails, I've really learned to really acknowledge what things my body tells me when it's starting to get really tired and when is too much. So I think that the best option is always listening to your body. The last thing that you want to do is overdo it and then hurt yourself, and then that's going to push you off the trail. Now, on the flip side of that, there's been plenty of times where I've hit my destination and I feel absolutely amazing, and I just keep on hiking. And sometimes that might be into the night. I know when I was on the JMT, I think it was sometime at the end of day 3, I felt so amazing that I just kept on pushing, and I ended up ripping like a 26 or 27 mile day when I was only planning on doing 20 miles. So it definitely works both ways for me. Is soap provided on the AT at places to stay? Almost all of the hostels that you will go to will have some sort of soap or shampoo or something that hikers leave behind. A lot of times what happens is folks will buy like shampoo and things like that, and they'll just leave it behind for the hikers because the last thing they want to do is carry a small bottle of soap or a small bottle of shampoo out there on the trail. So many places, especially the really good hostels, will have soap and shampoo and things like that for you at their hostels. Now, of course, the motels and things like that that you'll see on the trail, even the crummier ones, usually will have at least a bar of soap or something like that. Now, the only times on the Appalachian Trail I can really recall that there was not soap or shampoo when I really wanted or needed it was when I went through the mid-Atlantic states, and there's a period of probably like 150 miles or so where you are hitting places that have free showers, like at beaches and things like that. I think there was like 3, 4, or 5 of them, something like that. And what I ended up doing was just bringing a very small bottle of soap with me during that section, just because I thought it would pay itself off for the ounce or whatever it was that I carried on me, because I was just hitting those areas so often, and then I ditched it once I got out of New York. Hey Bigfoot, I see you switched to the Ghost Whisperer. Can you please comment on your new jacket, size, fit, functionality compared to your Patagonia jacket? Thanks for the great videos. As a matter of fact, I am actually wearing my Patagonia jacket right now. No rhyme or reason. I just kind of switch it up actually from time to time. Now, the reason why I went with the Ghost Whisperer was because I love trying new gear. I wanted to bring that out and just kind of see how it performed out there on the trail, because it's kind of like the down jacket of choice for all thru hikers, and I wanted to check that out, and I've actually been blown away by it. The nice thing that I love about the Ghost Whisperer is it weighs about 2 ounces less than my Patagonia, and it's got a hood on it. Now, in terms of the functionality of the jacket, I've been really impressed with it out on the trail. I haven't had a chance to do a review of it yet, but there is not very many things that I didn't like about it. It performed really well. I thought the fit was great. I originally ordered a large size because typically I wear a large because I want to also be able to layer it on top of things. And when I got it and I layered and put it on top of me, I actually found out that it was a little bit more bulkier than I had thought. So I actually switched it out and got a medium, and it fit really great. So for me, the medium size was perfect for me, which I think came in at like 7.6 ounces, which is just phenomenal. And in terms of the functionality of keeping me warm, I'd say it is really at a neck and neck race with my Patagonia. I thought both of them performed really, really well. And I was surprised how warm it did keep me. I mean, I was out on the JMT in the Sierras in temperatures like in the 20s, sometimes it got even down into the teens. And in the upper part of my body, I really didn't get cold. There was one night out at a lake that we stayed at that started to get a little chilly when we were just kind of stationary for a long period of time, and it got down to like 15 degrees. But outside of that, I was really impressed with how warm and how it performed, and that's something that I'm probably going to be bringing with me on upcoming through hikes out there, just because I love the weight, I love the hood, and just the overall package. But I still also love my Patagonia, and I also use both of them for a pillow when I wouldn't bring a air pillow with me, which is another piece of my gear that I've been bringing with me lately that is more of a luxury. But I tell you, I get a lot better sleep with an actual pillow than using my down jackets. But these down jackets are pretty sweet and work great for pillows as well. What apps are available for the Superior Hiking Trail, or SHT? So there's one app out there that I could find, the only one that I could find, I think it was called Highlights of the Superior Hiking Trail, and it talks about different sections of the Superior Hiking Trail and some of the highlights of those sections. But there was nothing like gut hooks. Now, one thing that I did hear, and I'm not quite sure if it's entirely accurate, was that gut hooks wanted to do a map of the Superior Hiking Trail, just like they've done with many of the major trails out there. But there was some sort of tension between them and the SHT Association, and they couldn't come to terms, or they didn't allow it. So there is nothing like gut hooks right now out there for that trail, which makes it a little bit more difficult. But I use the Superior Hiking Trail maps. I'll link them below how to get to them. While I was out there on the SHT, those are probably the best thing that you do have, but definitely would be really helpful if there was some sort of navigational app like they do a lot of the other major trails. Again, my favorite's gut hooks. How exactly do you use Nick Wax in the washing machine? Now, for me, I actually have never actually used it in the washing machine. I use it hand wash, manually only, the old-fashioned way. It's something that I've always done, and probably something that I'll always continue to do. But I looked this up on the website, and here are the directions. Place the clean item in the washing machine, apply the Nick Wax direct in the machine's dispenser, select a normal wash cycle, start machine, and completely rinse cycle. Alternatively, just apply the Nick Wax in a simple hand wash and then drip dry or tumble dry on a low setting if the care label allows it. What are your feelings about toilet paper tabs? Well, quite frankly, I really don't know a ton about them. I have never taken them out on the trail with me before. I did watch a YouTube video on them some time ago, and I mean, might be something that could work out there. Some folks, I think I've heard, have brought them and actually liked having them, but at this time I've never tried them before. So if any of you have, would love to hear what your thoughts on, and if it's something that you recommend out there. Well, seeing how it's starting to get dark, I think that's telling me that our time this week is done. Thanks so much for staying tuned in. Please make sure that you throw your comments in the comment box below to pool my questions for next week. And of course, you can also place them on Instagram, on Facebook, or email me them to followbigfoot@yahoo.com. And lastly, make sure you get a chance to enter my gear giveaway. I'm giving out a ton of stuff. It doesn't cost you anything to get into the gear giveaway. All of the details to that can be found at my website, followbigfoot.com. I redid my whole website, and I'll be making regular posts all the way through the rest of this year and going to next year. So make sure you start checking those out. Stay tuned for many more sightings, and remember to follow me, which is Follow Bigfoot.